What's up, guys? We're live here with Android Coliseum. A very rare instance here right now where there's only two of us. We don't usually do this too often, so this is going to be a really quick show. This is number 85, and I have here with me Cass Morrison, and of course I am Tom Gray. So, because we have a lot of time, how's the weather, Cass?
It's hot and sunny. Yay!
And here in BC, if you haven't been watching the news, we're breaking records for heat, and I am sunburnt. So let's jump right into the articles. We only got a couple here, so we'll see if we can't stretch it out a little bit. Maybe we'll get some questions along the way. So the first article is Samsung shutting down their movie and media hub, which is kind of a strange move because they're huge. They are the face of Android in some cases. And for them to be shutting down movie and media hubs and services is kind of odd. You'd think they want to kind of promote that kind of thing. But as a guy who has a lot of phones, a lot of Samsung stuff, I've never once used these services. Cass, have you ever tried them before?
No. I don't use I am one of those people that I don't actually use my tablet for a lot of media. So what I have, I've pretty well ripped. And I wonder how many people actually use it because, you know, with Google, and you never know what kind of deal they made with Google about closing stuff down. So.
And maybe this is another case of what Cass kind of tipped on, is this might be another case of Samsung working together on Google. Maybe they're shutting down the media hubs because they're going to go in with Google and maybe enrich the Google content. Because they were talking about becoming partners with Google a little closer, so maybe this is something we'll see. But that being said, the service had closed yesterday, so it's already done, it's finished, and you have until August 1st to purchase your existing content, download it, move it wherever you want, put on your flash drive, your computer. After that August 1st, it's kind of going to remove it on you, is what I'm understanding here. So if you purchase any stuff, if you're the odd guy who actually bought something off this hub, just make sure you get your stuff backed up. And if Cass doesn't have any more comments, I will let Cass lead to the next article.
Well, I don't think I have any more comments about that. I think it would have been a lot more unexpected, say, if Sony shut it down, because Sony has an entertainment arm. Samsung, I don't think does. So, why not let stuff go if you can?
Yeah.
Yes. So, still looking at Google OEMs. Sony has been burning up the updates. Like they had the Z1, the Z2 has just come out, and now there's rumors of Z3. What do you think, Tom?
Well, I just got the Z2 like 2-3 weeks ago, and I am loving this device like crazy. And it was only available about a month ago to us Canadians, maybe a little further than that. And now we're already hearing about the Z3. Of course, this is Ryan's favorite topic. This is rumors. And, Ryan's not here to defend this, so haha, Ryan, you should have been here. So we get to talk about all the rumors we want. So the Z3 has been, images leaked, may not be really the Z3, but it would fit history if it is, because the Z2 was released in April, 6 months after the Z1. So if this is true, we could be looking at an early Christmas gift if the Z3 does follow history and releases if they go another 6 months. And it's the Z3 Compact is what they're showing alleged pictures of. And basically it's very similar specs to the Z2, but just a little bit smaller. And of course, if they release a Z3 Compact, surely a full-size Z3 will follow, or if not, be ahead of it, or behind it. Did I say that right? Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
In plain English is what I'm telling you. So, because there are leaks and rumors, we're not going to dig too deep on it because, it's all in
rumors.
So the next topic at hand is Android Wear. The application appears in the Google Play Store. You can go and download it right now. So for all the watches, the 2 watches that appeared on the Google Play Store, I know Ryan bought one. I think Mark bought. Did Mark actually buy one?
Did Ryan buy one?
I think Ryan.
Because I know Sylvain bought one. Sylvain bought
LG. Mark. Samsung.
Yes.
And I think Ryan's on the fence still. He's still deciding because he doesn't know if he wants to save up for the LG G3.
What
should be coming out
decisions?
around July. T-Mobile's getting it in July, so hopefully our Canadian carriers will pick it up shortly after, maybe the end of July. So anyways, Android Wear is coming out because these devices are shipping very, very soon, if not already. So you can actually download it on your
Yes.
phone, have it ready. So the minute that watch appears on your doorstep, you can tear open that package like a ravaged beast, get it on your arm, and have it ready to go. And of course, you're going to play around with it, get all the options set up, do whatever you can with it, but it's on the Play Store now. Of course, it's free. And it was just there today. It's only got like 50 reviews, so have fun. And
Well,
I'll
there's a lot. I saw a lot of apps have updated to work with Android Wear.
Mhm.
So, you know, it looks like it's really well supported. And because Google is keeping it very structured, it's going to make it easier for, you know, for app development overall. I'm kind of hopeful, you know, after Samsung pushed the original Gear to Tizen, and since they have Android Wear, you know, it'd be kind of cool if you could just say, send in your, like, my Gear Fit, send it in for $50, get it updated into Android Wear, because I really, really, really like the form factor. I know that people are not that fond; they don't like the long screen, but I really like it, and it's, for me, it's perfect. It's what I want. It would just be nice to be able to, you know, get that more options with Android. Mind you, this doesn't have a speaker or anything, so.
As long as it displays your notifications, the time, and maybe a couple other little things, it's not bad. I mean, the long screen might actually be more appealing because I had the Gear and the Sony Smartwatch 1 and 2, and having this brick on your wrist, you know, it's kind of cool to look at, but after a while, you kind of start banging it on things and stuff. So having that little, you know,
Yeah,
little
having more of a strip,
actually
to me, is
be
a little more natural.
exactly.
But
So we take the next article.
oh, okay. Well, we were talking about Google search. You know, they have updated. I really like the idea. I think it came out with the Moto X, didn't it? Where you could just say, "Okay, Google," from
Yes.
any screen, and then Nova put it in with their launcher. And then lately, Google has included it with the Google search function. And it's interesting because I sort of tried it right away, and I went, "Oh yes." And I came back to KK Launcher, and then I just got a Tab S, and I tried it with that right away. So with the Samsung TouchWiz launcher, and it worked fine. And yet you, Tom, were saying that you can get it to work.
No,
So
it wasn't working for me. And, you know, I checked yesterday, day before that. I was eagerly waiting. I was not willing to manually install it myself. I don't want to ruin the update process, right? So, you know, Cass is like, oh, it's working on my phone, and check this out. I can do this with it. And I'm sitting there going, I can't, right? So I check out my phone, and sure enough, there it is, just as Cass is talking about it, going, oh, wow. So I go and play with it, and it's all grayed out. It won't let me turn it on. So Cass and I are kind of brainstorming, well, why is this? So I go and read around a little bit, and it was because I had the English Canadian on my phone's language. So I had to change it to English American, or English US as they call it. And Cass, you said you were running English Canadian?
yeah, I'm running English Canadian. All those options are grayed out. It just says all I have checked off is use the hot phrase, and that's the only thing I have checked off. So everything else is grayed out. And like I said, it's worked on pretty well everything, because it didn't used to work on KK Launcher. I know. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. It didn't used to work on that, and I'm pretty sure it didn't work on TouchWiz before either. Because, you know, I yell at my phone every once in a while. Screen's on, hey, Google!
I think the only phone that had it working on or touch was with the Galaxy S5, and you had to have the Google widget on that screen. So if you went to the left screen of the desktop where the widget was not, it wouldn't work. The widget had to be center of the screen where you were currently looking at, and then you could do the voice activation. Now, I've heard a lot of people complaining, saying, well, how come... Okay, we just got word that Ryan's coming, which is awesome. So we'll continue with Google anyways. On reading online, a lot of people were complaining, saying, well, how come I can't say, okay, Google, while my phone's off? And, well, my reasoning behind that, I don't know if this is true, this is me thinking, right, is I believe having the screen off and doing that kind of is Motorola's territory, and if Google kind of jumped on that, would that be infringing patents? Or did Google have these patents because they once owned them, took the patents when they left? I mean, that's kind of a gray area. Ryan would know more about that because he's our lawyer kind
of person.
But other than that, and the thing is, if they had it working with the screen off, that's good for our new phones with 801 processors because it has that low power core. But anyone running a phone that does not have that, last year's phone, that would destroy your battery because the phone would never sleep. So that would be,
And I think that's what I think they're slowly moving towards that, right? Like, so now having it when your screen is on, you can say, okay, Google. People can accept that. I know that if I had my phone apparently off, sure, when I'm driving, it would be nice to say, okay, Google, and have it come on, unlock, and be happy. But, like, especially today, I was trying to use my my awesome Edge to call home. It was like, phone home, downloading contacts. What?
Yeah.
So, really looking forward to Android Auto, too, because that will work with that voice. But back on track, I would be kind of creeped out if my phone wasn't actually on, like it didn't seem to be on, and I could say, okay, Google.
Yeah.
Seems really insecure.
It would be insecure, but, as I mentioned, anyone running last year's phone without that low-powered core, if it's always listening,
yeah,
you would be out of battery by the end of the day, for sure. I mean, that's what the Moto X was awesome for, is they had all those low-powered cores.
Right.
And that's where a lot of these new devices, the Z2 has it, the OnePlus One has it, the LG G2 has it, where you can tap the screen and it wakes up, right? And so if you're driving in your car, just go, boop, boop, okay, Google, right? And then you go, right? So, Ryan, we're talking about Google search system-wide voice commands. We're just about finished with the topic, so if you want to jump in there and speak about how awesome it is.
I haven't got the update for mine yet, I have to admit. I mean, I sideloaded the Google search to add it to the Google launcher, but I haven't got the update to do the system-wide version yet. So now, is it my understanding that it only works on specific Google apps, though, is my understanding? Like if you were to go into Angry Birds and say, okay, Google, it wouldn't work.
It says system-wide and lock screen. I haven't tested it within other apps, but that's something we can definitely check out in the future.
Yeah,
and lock screen? Oh, right. Mine doesn't lock at home. Because I know that before I used to have it actually on an app, or like on Google Now. Now I can have it on my main screen, or I can have it in the app drawer. So, that implies to me that certainly some programs you'll be able to do it too. I don't know which ones.
All right, so just a quick recap for Ryan's sake. He wants to jump in and do some of these topics with us again. We talked about Samsung shutting down the movie and media hubs. They're offline now. You have about a month to get rid of all your content. If you don't, it's gone. So you have to download it and save it somewhere else. Your favorite topic, Xperia Z3 leaks. We talked about that just very, very briefly. And we moved on. We kind of poked that you weren't here. You couldn't defend against rumors. But one that you actually might really want to talk about is the Android Wear. Is actually in the Google Play Store starting today.
Right.
You can download the Android Wear app, get it ready for your watch. And we were actually questioning, have you actually pulled the trigger on buying a watch yet?
No, I haven't. Although I did write that article the other day about getting ready for it, and so I guess now that the app is open to everybody, before or prior to Android being open, you had to go and be part of the beta group to get into. So I got myself whitelisted to get the app ready to go, but now it's available for everybody. I still haven't pulled the trigger, because I'm still kind of dicey on the phone I have right now in terms of I really want to get the G3, but I'm having some issues with the phone I have right now. So it's one of those things I don't want to get it and get used to that one. As much as I really do want it, and you saw my poll on what Android Wear devices people are going to buy, I couldn't believe how how far Moto 360
Yeah.
was above anything else. Like that was like half the results, and then it was like 10%, 10%, for other devices. So the Moto 360 was amazing. So it's one of those things. I have this, what is it called? Something dissonance or whatever, where that idea of buyers
Cognitive
are more
dissonance.
cognitive dissonance, right? The idea I don't want to buy it, and then it turns out I made the wrong decision. I really want to see all angles on this, just because it might be. I don't want to sit there and think I'm missing. I know I want the LG, but I don't want to. Turns out I missed something cool and neat about the 360 or something, right?
Right.
Especially now that we're hearing rumors, and me about rumors about the Asus version, right? I do like the Asus products out there, and an Asus watch coming in about $100. They're saying going to be super thin, all those kind of cool features. You're like,
There's also a phone coming, and they do. I've seen it. I've seen the pictures, and it's real. It's coming, and it kind of makes me a little edgy because I'm not sure about Asus products when it comes to phones. Yeah, they make wicked computers, but they haven't really proved themselves in the mobile department in terms of phones. It's almost like the Acer Liquid MTs and LTs they had. They looked awesome, and I had one, and it was pure garbage. Like, wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, I had the Liquid E, and it was pretty cool. But I mean,
Yeah.
but then again, we really haven't seen it's just a matter of, I don't know, it's because they weren't successful, but like the Asus pad phones never really made it past, or into the North American.
Europe, really.
It made it make it out of any. I think it was only in Asia, or was it in Europe? Where they were, but like it only was in that one market. It didn't come to anywhere. So whether that's a statement of it wasn't a successful launch, or they just never became successful, right? So I don't know.
Right.
I'm curious about that. I'm really curious about that Moto watch 360.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very practical. I mean, everything is made for a square screen, and now all of a sudden you have a round watch, and I see little square bits at the bottom, and yeah.
The funny part for me on the 360 on a Circle watch, we are so used to describing everything in 240 by 240, 320. It's a 1.8 inch screen. How do you define a Circle display? Right, yeah. It's like the Office episode where they had the triangular tablets, right? How do you, but I mean, like, how do you decide that? Like, do you just
and how does Google keep everything on track? Like, they're not going to allow a lot of,
Material design is meant to be consistent across all devices. So if you have a device that's circular, is it going to cut off the corners? But anyways, we can go on this for a while. We'll see. Again, it does look like a watch, and I think that's what everybody liked about the 360. Whereas I'm okay with whatever screens. I mean, most of the fancy watches I wear, when I get dressed up or whatever, and you put a little, doodad watch on, it are square screens or rectangular. So I'm not too bad with that.
Yeah, actually, you're right. A lot of it's only like the Rolexes and stuff like that are round, but most, like a lot of Citizen watches and stuff like that are rectangular.
You just hear the new tech arguments. 5-inch screen, really, buddy? 2-inch diameter. That's what.
I'm gonna have a cough.
R equals 1.4 inches, bitch. It's like, how are you gonna? Everything's defined. Anyways, I'm sure they figured it out. It'll be interesting to see. If you guys want to take a look at the article on the site where we did do that poll, and you can see why people picked what they picked. It was kind of interesting to see most of the reasons of why they picked what they picked.
Last little bit for that though is, I don't know if it's true, but I've heard people saying that the Moto 360 is going to go for around $300.
Oof. But the thing is, the contest that they had said $250. But again, that was before the product was even available. They had to put a number.
This is just what I've read on the internet, and anyone can put anything they want on the internet, so that's may not be true. But new it is, round screen, new is always expensive.
Yeah, Qi charging is going to be kind of a cool thing. I gotta admit.
Yeah.
Where I'm headed on that kind of sense. Anyways.
Okay, so we've already talked about Google Search and expressed our opinions, but now Songza being acquired by Google. I've personally never used Songza, so I'm simply going to bow out of this one and let you guys battle it out.
Well, I use Songza all the time at work. I finally got my phone on Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi network at work, And yeah, I really like their curated stuff. So I'm hoping that, you know, Google doesn't take out the people aspect of that, because I know algorithms are great, but people with their opinions can throw in unexpected things that, you know, I make sort of sideways connections that maybe algorithm wouldn't make, you know. So there's always the unexpected aspect of having people directly involved with curating. So I hope that they keep that. Maybe expand their music catalog, but just keep.
What I think it might be interesting, and they haven't really said the whole purpose for the purchase. You know, like when they acquired Waze, they said we're doing it for that crowdsourcing version of traffic time data. We're going to keep Waze the way it is. It's going to stay Waze. We're not going to merge the products. We're just going to merge the back end data. And that's I think I commented today on an article about why was the purchase made. Are they going to merge the products, or are they going to merge the back end data? Like you say, what's nice about Songza is it's a personal thing, right? It's somebody themselves making up these things versus a computer algorithm. And I like all access music. When I started using Songza, I switched over to all access music when I had the chance. Had all access not come in, I would have stayed on Songza. But
See, and I'm the opposite.
See, I only switch because I like Google. I want to spend my money on Google. I want to like a music, and I want to add it to my library and get it whenever I want. Songs, if I like a certain song in that playlist, I can't easily go back to it. That was my only thing I didn't like about Songza.
You know, and maybe it's a cultural thing, because like I'm kind of used to that. I grew up in the 60s and 70s where the radio just played by you and you just listened and said, oh, I hope I hear that song again.
And I do like that. And that was a perfect thing for work. Unfortunately, where I work, I don't have Wi-Fi anymore, so I can't do that radio version of that anymore, right? So I need to have something that I can pin and then go back to or whatever. So,
yeah.
So for me, but it'd be interesting to see what comes out of it, because again, A, they've been very quiet in terms of how much they spend on Songza.
Yeah.
B, what's the purpose about it? Like, Google has mentioned that they purchased them. Songza put a post out saying, hey, we're now part of their team. It's amazing. We're staying the same. The only thing that's going to be different for us is the terms of services, because we're now under a Google umbrella.
Yeah.
So, be interesting to see what
like the email that I think Google sent out saying, we bought Songza. We're not going to make any big changes. Don't worry, still be the same service. We're just going to make it faster and better. You know, is in a short version. And I thought that was kind of funny. I almost felt like I was reading them jab at Songza a little bit, saying...
No, that was from Songza. That was an email from Songza.
I don't know, I kind of felt it was a bit of a jab. Probably just how I read it. This kind of made me chuckle a little bit.
Well, they will have a lot more access to... I'm sure they'll have larger playlists available, you know, from...
And I think that's the key, is because they probably have access to playable music that probably Google Play Music doesn't have. So that content rights might be able to transferable over, right?
And vice versa.
And to touch back on a previous article I failed to mention when Ryan joined, is Cass also made the comment about Samsung shutting down the Media Hub and the Movie Hub, wondering if they shut it down because maybe they are also going to team up with Google a little bit closer and start incorporating some of their content. Because they did say that they were going to try and be a closer partner to Google a few months back, and maybe this is something we're seeing of that actually come to light.
Yeah, there was a patent sharing. There was a patent sharing option with Samsung to sit down. And we all, at the beginning, thought, oh, that's obviously because of Samsung's legal battles with Apple, that, you know, Google's going to help step in as being a partner and actually start defending. And actually, we saw Larry and Eric go to bat at in the court case. But like you're seeing in the thing, we heard a lot about Knox at the I/O and how that Knox security is going to be included in some of the features of Android L.
Right, and we'll let Cass jump into that one as our Samsung resident expert. So Cass is going to tell us all about Knox.
Well, actually, I do use Knox. It's really well implemented. It sandboxes really well. I never have to worry about, you know, if work decides that they want to explode my phone, they will only be exploding the Knox portion. So it's secure. It has a lot of options in there, and I know that I think a lot of people that have phones for fun and excitement and hobbies, but don't really use them for work, might not appreciate the security that Knox offers. But for me, it's another layer that people would have to go through to access stuff that was work related. And they've worked hard. They've got it. Knox has been accepted by the U.S. government and stuff like that. So I can totally see why, if Google adopts Knox, then they don't have to go through that themselves. So it's a step that they're taking out.
When the government takes up Knox, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, I guess it's happening. So.
Well, one thing I thought was because I really want to learn more about Knox because as I start using more devices for work or I'm working in a situation now where they will not let me bring my own device. And I ended up having a long discussion with the IT department to say, well, why can't I bring my own device? And because they were BlackBerry for many, many, many years, and only apparently just this year have decided to start allowing iOS devices.
iPhones.
And I asked them, well, why allow iOS in the mix? And I pulled out an article that I had read the other day talking about, I can't remember which person it was. I have to pull it out and read it. It's a really good read about you got to stop thinking iOS is more secure than Android. It's a false notion. And so I started talking to her about this. Oh, well, it's the way that they curate the App Store. It won't compromise our networks. I'm like, but what about the layer of Knox? And a layer of Knox has shown that I started, and you could tell that I wouldn't say I was talking above this person, but it's definitely a decision they made, and that's the decision they made, and they're sticking with it. And I was just like, I can't understand this unflinching way of thinking in certain ways like that. There are other alternatives, and if security is number one, Knox is one of the better ones out there, right, next to BlackBerry.
And it's not like Apple is that user-friendly to IT departments. It sucks for that. We had, with our bring your own device, it's like, well, we are using this app for email. It doesn't work really well with Apple, but it works great with Android phones. All the complaints are with Apple. Because Android lets you lock down your phone, you can add your own security levels to it, which you can't do with the Apple devices. So, whatever. It'll all get sorted out.
And I just found it funny that the only comment the person had was why they allowed one device, not the other device, was the App Store.
Yeah.
So the fact that you could use something like Knox, like the BlackBerry Z1 and etc. have, right? Z10 or Z1? I can't remember.
Z10.
Z10 have where it does allow you to separate your apps and games from your corporate level. And I just this is a perfect example that we should just incorporate Knox on any device, and then it separates it entirely. And any app I download, whether you like the App Store or not, is unaffected or doesn't affect that Knox layer. Just wasn't.
And it is really slick because all my calendar agenda stuff and emails, I'll get the notifications, but I will not be able to actually access them unless I go into Knox, which is another password, and it locks out very quickly. So it really, I don't know. It's a really good security system. I find it easy to use. It's not onerous at all, and I think it's a really good move on Google's part because the security has already been negotiated with different departments and countries and vendors. So
it makes sense.
Yes, it does. Are we going to move on now, Tom?
Yeah.
I have barking dogs.
Yeah, and I got to put my son to bed very, very soon. So we're just got a couple little reviews to mention. Just today, I got a premium leather holster from Blacksmith Labs, and it's kind of like a woven leather. It's not stitched. It's actually kind of folded together, and there is actually a lot of stitching here, but it's the way they did it is kind of interesting. And so it's their premium line of cases. I'll be testing it out for a little while. I'll have a review written probably within a week's time. So this is just a heads up. Keep an eye out for that if you're interested in premium leather quality products for our phones. Cass just stepped out for a minute, so we'll move on to the one under that is the Hello Nomad charge cable and what do you call this one again? Got the charge card and the charge key. There we go. Really bad review. I can't remember the names. Anyway, so I already reviewed these as well. Martin Gay as well, our other member, has reviewed, and Cass just got a set for herself as well. She said she actually already had the product before they sent her one, so she was actually an early adopter before pretty much all of us had it. So these are really useful. You know, have them in your wallets all the time. Whenever you need to charge up, sync to a computer. As I wrote in my review, everyone has that instance where you're at a grandparent's barbecue and their grandparents, they're not computer savvy, you know, oh, I don't use Dropbox. Okay, well, I'll load them onto my phone, on your computer, and we're done. I'll let Cass have some final words on this, though. It's her thing.
Yeah, like, I really liked this. I found that the actual credit card thing, it gave you a little bit of length, but it wasn't that convenient. Found the stub a little short, but that's just for what I use it for. You never know. Different devices, different, you know, batteries will work differently. I do like the key a little better. Again, I would use it with an external battery. It's got, I think the tab is just that little bit longer. I'm really terrible with cameras. Like the tab just seems that little bit longer, so you got a bit better stability. And
Right.
I'm really, really, really looking forward to the new item that they're bringing out. I pre-ordered. So.
The carabiner clip.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome.
They're sending Martin and I one to play around with when.
Yeah, they're probably sending me one too.
And Cass actually has one more thing to show us.
Yes, Ryan had gotten an email from Rockform about a case that they have, and they only have it for the S4 and the S5. So I got one for the S4, and I did a video review, and I have to say that I am not a big case fan, but I really like this. It doesn't add a lot of weight. It doesn't add a lot of width, but it makes you feel just that little bit more secure with your phone because it's got a lip that protects the screen a little more. It's got some really cool features. It's got a little rubber thing there, so when you put your phone down, it doesn't slide around. And it has a, if you like to stick things to your dashboard, it has a little thing that sticks onto your dashboard, and then it locks your phone in. You know.
That was
For
interesting.
me,
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be better than that stupid suction thing that always falls off, or trying to put something in your cup holder. So
But be warned, people. I don't know how it is in your provinces. In Ontario, they're even saying don't do that with your phones because that's a distraction and could still get you a distracted driving ticket. Just be warned.
Well, it's interesting because I did listen to Android, all about Android, and they were saying that Google Auto, if you don't have the Google Auto screen, you'll still be able to put it into that mode on your phone, and that will make it a lot more audio controlled. Way better than current things.
I like what Ryan just said about not having a phone on the dash because it's distracting. And yet, we're talking about Google Auto, and last week's episode we talked about having a 10-inch tablet a part of your dashboard. So, can't have your little phone is just frowned upon. Well, we're going to put a 10-inch tablet there for you to just play with. You know, it seems counterproductive while you're running me over is what I'm saying.
Well, the thing is, the whole problem with those in-car screens right now is they are really crappy for user interfaces.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't say enough about how crappy they are. You know, so if we actually bring in something that is design-oriented, by then, you know, we have OK Google everywhere. Heck, OK Google in your car, and it actually understands you versus, did you mean to call Joe Slavinsky when you said call home? You know.
You leave it to XDA. They'll have it ready for somebody like Ryan. Okay, Google, find me the next portal. Ingress pops up. You know,
That'd be awesome. Like I just get them to tell them, just hack for me.
You know they'll do it. So unless we have any final
probably.
comments, that pretty much wraps up our show.
I think so. I'm hot. My dogs are hot and loud. And I think next week I will have my Tab S ready. Oh, I wiped my other tab. I was going to do some stuff, comparisons, but oh well.
Next week, also, Sylvain has confirmed he will be with us.
And he will have the Gwatch.
Maybe, if it ships on time. I'm not sure when is this said to ship, but yeah, it'll
I think
definitely...
it's supposed to ship on the 3rd.
It's supposed to ship tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
And I hear Savant has received her Find 7. Her Opal Find 7 today, so...
Find 7 or Find 7A?
I imagine it's probably the Find 7A, because Cyanogen isn't out yet, right? So...
Right. All right, so thanks for everyone for joining us, and the people who will watch in the future. I'll let everybody say their goodbyes.
Sorry I'm late, everybody, but always awesome to have this conversation with such enthusiastic Android fans.
And I'm hoping that we stay on Wednesday because it works for me. Even during TV season, Wednesdays are good. There's not a lot on. Now that Supernatural moved to Tuesday, everything's on Tuesday.
Nothing on Wednesdays. Works here, so maybe,
Yeah.
Nick, we need a little more talking about with the group before we make a final decision, but it looks like it's working out all right. So,
Yeah, so keep
anyone-
an eye out for Wednesdays.
leave us comments. Let us know what the viewers think. Message any one of the groups and say what days that you like, and maybe we can work around that too. So, anyways, thanks for joining us here at the Coliseum, and we'll see you hopefully next week around this time again. Take care, guys.
Adios.